"I don't need your charity," Jack mumbled, his blue eyes intense despite his weathered face as he attempted to return the steaming cup. "It's not charity, it's coffee," Lily insisted, steadfast in her refusal to take it back. Her eyes, though red-rimmed from fatigue, shone with unwavering determination. "And it's freezing out here, the storm's getting worse." Jack hesitated before accepting the cup, their fingers brushing against each other for a fleeting moment. "Why do you care? You hardly know me. I've experienced the cold before, too," she replied matter-of-factly, wrapping her slender jacket more snugly around her. Their breath created wisps in the icy air as they lingered outside Phil's diner, where Lily had just completed her double shift. The streets of Philadelphia were rapidly becoming deserted as an unforeseen winter storm intensified, the wind swirling fiercely between the buildings. "My apartment isn't much, but the couch is yours tonight if you want it," Lily offered, surprising herself almost as much as him. "Nobody should be out in this." Jack studied her face, searching for ulterior motives but finding none. Lily Foster began her day promptly at 5 a.m. She swiftly silenced her small alarm clock, barely allowing it to buzz, mindful of not disturbing Sarah, who was peacefully sleeping in the room across their tiny apartment. At 28, Lily never envisioned herself still living in a two-bedroom walk-up, with bill notices accumulating on the counter. Yet life took a different turn after her parents passed away 4 years ago. Phil's diner occupied the corner of 9th and Morris, a cherished family-run spot, where Lily had been employed since her arrival in Philadelphia. Although the pay was not impressive, Phil allowed her to take home leftover food and offered flexible hours, enabling her to work evening shifts at the library 3 times a week. It was in October that she first caught sight of the bearded man lingering outside the diner. In contrast to other individuals experiencing homelessness who occasionally solicited assistance from patrons, he refrained from making any requests. He remained still, occasionally making marks in a worn notebook. There was an undeniable allure to his sense of dignity that captivated her. By early November, Lily began to bring him coffee upon her arrival for her shift. "Black, no sugar," she said the first time, placing the cup beside him. He glanced up, taken aback. "Thank you, but I can't pay for this." "It's on me," she responded, rushing inside before he could object. The following day he returned once more. This time he acknowledged it with a nod. "I'm Jack." "Lily," she replied, a faint smile gracing her lips before she slipped away into the diner. Their morning ritual persisted into November. Occasionally, they would share a brief conversation about the weather or the happenings in the area. From time to time, during the quieter moments at the diner, Lily would offer him leftover pancakes or eggs that would have been discarded otherwise. Sarah pondered her sister's generosity toward an unfamiliar face. "You're struggling to pay your rent, and yet you're handing out free food." "It's not something I have to pay for," Lily clarified. "And he's different. Respectful. Something happened to him, I can tell." The December storm took everyone off guard. Meteorologists had anticipated a mere light dusting. Yet by afternoon, the city was grappling with 6 inches, with more on the way. Phil decided to close the diner early, sending everyone home. As Lily exited, she spotted Jack huddled in the doorway, snow accumulating around him, his thin jacket providing scant protection. "The shelters are all full," he explained, when she inquired about his absence from a warmer place. In that moment, Lily couldn't help but make an impulsive offer: her couch for the night. Jack ascended the 3 flights of stairs behind Lily, his limited belongings secured in a backpack resting on his shoulder. The warmth enveloped them as she turned the key in the lock. "It's not much," she apologized, suddenly conscious of the mismatched furniture and peeling paint. "It's perfect," Jack replied earnestly. She guided him to the bathroom, offering a towel, a blanket, and a pillow for the couch. "There's hot water if you want a shower. I'll find you something to eat." As Lily warmed the soup in the kitchen, Jack surveyed the apartment. Even in its worn state, it exuded a sense of belonging. Every nook was crammed with books. The walls were adorned with photographs of Lily alongside a younger girl, presumably her sister. A comprehensive business plan was spread out on the modest dining table, with Foster's books and brew prominently displayed at the top. Following a light meal, Lily laid out her ground rules. You can stay until the storm passes. Tomorrow, my sister Sarah will return home from her friend's house. She could be somewhat reserved. I see, Jack responded. Your support means more to me than you realize. Once Lily had settled in for the night, Jack remained in the stillness of the apartment. He retrieved a cell phone from a concealed pocket in his backpack, one that was surprisingly modern and costly for the situation. Margaret? It's me, he whispered. I'm safe. No, I'm with someone. Indeed, I continue to pursue this endeavor. The board can afford to wait another week. Just keep things running. He took a moment to reflect. I believe I've finally discovered what I've been searching for. He concluded the call and gazed at the ceiling, torn by the dishonesty yet convinced he was precisely where he was meant to be. Lily awoke to the enticing aroma of coffee wafting through the air. For a fleeting moment, the presence of her houseguest slipped her mind until she caught the sound of soft activity in the kitchen. She hurriedly got dressed and discovered Jack at her old stove, carefully stirring something in her best pan. You prepare meals? She inquired, taken aback. Jack pivoted, a subtle grin peeking out from under his beard. Unexpected. I hope you enjoy the omelets, he said. You really didn't have to go through all this? Lily replied, taking the mug of coffee he handed her. Think of it as a rental fee. He skillfully turned the omelet. And honestly, you put in too much effort to cook breakfast on your own. The unassuming meal turned out to be quite delightful. While they dined, Lily observed that Jack had already repaired the leaky faucet that had been a nuisance to her for months. Where did you acquire these skills? Jack paused. I haven't always lived on the streets. He claimed to have worked in construction. The falsehood slipped off his tongue effortlessly, yet it gnawed at him more than the lies that had come before. What happened? She inquired softly. Life, he replied with a quiet sincerity. Sometimes things fall apart faster than you can catch them. Sarah's arrival that afternoon was just as clumsy as Lily had expected. Her 19-year-old sister halted abruptly in the doorway, her gaze landing on Jack right away. Who's this? She inquired, her tone strained. Jack, Lily explained. He's staying with us until the storm passes. Sarah pulled Lily into the bathroom, shutting the door behind them. You brought a homeless guy into our apartment? Are you out of your mind? He's just someone who needed help. Lily stood her ground. I couldn't just abandon him to the cold. What if he takes our things? What if he poses a threat? He repaired the faucet and prepared breakfast, Lily retorted. Does that seem perilous? Sarah let out a deep breath. Just lock your bedroom door tonight. The storm grew fiercer, unleashing nearly 2 feet of snow over the next 3 days. Philadelphia came to a standstill, granting Lily an unexpected break. The small apartment could have felt suffocating with 3 people, yet it didn't. Jack demonstrated his resourcefulness by repairing the finicky radiator when it malfunctioned and removing snow from the entrance of the building. Every morning, Lily discovered breakfast prepared for her. Each evening, he took it upon himself to whip up dinner using the sparse ingredients available. On the 3rd night, as Sarah immersed herself in her studies, Lily discovered Jack poring over her business plan laid out on the table. Sorry, he said, caught in the act. I was curious. Rather than feeling upset, Lily discovered she was sharing the details of her dream. I've dreamed of opening a bookstore cafe since my college days. A place where individuals can truly feel at ease, savoring excellent coffee alongside captivating literature. What has held you back? He inquired. She chuckled gently. Money, naturally. Financial institutions aren't particularly eager to extend loans to waitresses burdened with student debt. Jack examined the intricate financial forecasts. These figures are impressive. Your research is commendable. Economics minor, she clarified. I have a precise understanding of what I require. $87,000 for the initial year. I've managed to put away nearly $12,000 over the past 5 years. She shook her head. At this rate, I'll open my shop when I'm 50. Jack wanted to tell her he could write a check right then, an amount that wouldn't even register in his accounts. Instead, he asked more questions about her vision, captivated by her meticulous planning. As the city emerged from the storm's grip, Jack felt the pull to depart. His venture into a simpler life had already stretched beyond his initial intentions. Margaret reached out every day, her worry growing over his prolonged absence from Bennett Developments. The West Side project is at a standstill, she cautioned during one call he took on the building's roof. The board is inquiring. Inform them that I'm dealing with a personal issue, Jack directed. I require additional time. How much longer? It's been nearly a month since you began this. Whatever it is, I don't know, he confessed, observing Lily through the window as she assisted Sarah with a school assignment. Something's different this time. When the buses resumed running, Lily anticipated Jack would depart. Instead, he proposed a modest rent to extend his stay. I'm looking for work, he clarified. It's simpler if I have an address. Lily should have said no. Her prudent instincts urged her to, yet the apartment buzzed with energy in his presence, and the additional income would ease her financial strain. 2 weeks, she resolved. Then we reevaluate. 2 weeks turned into 3, then a month. Jack maintained a minimal space and a supportive presence. He took on odd jobs that accounted for his sporadic absences, moments when he actually went to his office, dressed in a suit stored in a locker across town. One evening, as she returned from her library shift, Lily stumbled upon Jack assisting Sarah with her business class assignment. The key is understanding overhead costs versus variable expenses, he was articulating. Your profit margin hinges on effective management of both. What makes you so knowledgeable about this? What did Sarah inquire? Jack gave a nonchalant shrug. You notice details. Sarah locked eyes with Lily later that evening. He doesn't appear to be the type who would be without a home. Perhaps that's the essence of it, Lily replied. Anyone can end up there. That night, as she lay in bed, Lily acknowledged to herself that she was becoming fond of their arrangement and of Jack himself. His presence resonated with her in ways she couldn't quite articulate. What had started as a brief refuge had transformed into an unexpected reality, stirring a mix of fear and exhilaration within her. Meanwhile, Jack remained restless on the couch, grappling with an increasing sense of guilt. Each passing day made his eventual revelation feel more daunting. Each passing day diminished his desire to go back to his vacant penthouse and trivial meetings. In the 3 floors of a walk-up apartment, he discovered more meaning than in the 30 stories of his corporate headquarters. You've got a customer? Lily declared, placing Jack's morning coffee at his new spot, inside the diner rather than on the sidewalk. Phil had reluctantly consented to allow Jack to dine there after Lily spoke in his favor. Though he wasn't officially on the payroll, Jack had woven himself into the fabric of their small world over the past 6 weeks. Which customer? Jack inquired, glancing up from the newspaper. Mrs. Abernathy requires repairs on her porch steps ahead of her grandson's arrival. I mentioned that you're quite skilled, Lily said, setting a piece of paper with an address next to his cup. She'll pay cash, Jack grinned. Are you acting as my agent now? Someone has to, Lily replied with a playful wink before darting back to her tables. From his corner booth, Jack observed her in action, noting the effortless way she recalled orders and her sincere curiosity about the lives of her customers. He had encountered numerous executives and influential figures, yet few possessed Lily's innate talent for forging connections. Mrs. Abernathy's role resulted in 3 additional contacts in the area. Jack's standing for delivering quality work at reasonable prices circulated rapidly. Though the funds were superfluous for him, they served as an ideal guise for his ongoing involvement in Lily's life. One evening, as he worked on the apartment's old window frames, Sarah perched at the kitchen table, observing him. My marketing professor mentioned that our group project requires improved financial projections, she remarked nonchalantly. Any ideas? Jack put his tools aside. What type of business are we talking about? Mobile app for local restaurant deliveries. For the next hour, Jack led her through the intricacies of competitive analysis and pricing strategies, sharing insights from his own experiences while maintaining a sense of mystery. How do you know all this? Sarah finally inquired. Honestly, where did you pick that up? I once ran my own business, Jack replied thoughtfully. Before things took a turn for the worse, Sarah observed him closely. You ought to be sharing this knowledge, not repairing windows. Later, she confronted Lily in their bedroom. There's more to Jack than he's revealing. Everyone has their narrative, Lily responded. He's earned my trust. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Is that all? Lily hurled a pillow at her sister. Stop it. You look at him differently, Sarah insisted. And he certainly gazes at you as if you're something extraordinary. Lily couldn't refute the deepening bond forming between them, yet she upheld her cautious limits. Whatever was unfolding warranted patience and room. So you're still cohabitating with my waitress? Rachel inquired sharply, settling into the booth opposite Jack one afternoon. In her role as Lily's closest confidant and the cook at the diner, Rachel had taken it upon herself to be the vigilant guardian. I pay rent, Jack replied with a calm demeanor. That's not what I'm asking, Rachel said, leaning in closer. What are your intentions? Jack locked eyes with her. I hold her in high regard. Men who truly respect women often don't feel the need to proclaim it. That makes sense, Jack acknowledged. What would it take for you to believe I'm not exploiting her generosity? Rachel pondered this. Time will reveal all. But remember this. She's endured more than enough. With her parents gone, raising Sarah, and tirelessly pursuing that bookstore dream, she certainly doesn't need any more complications. Jack nodded. Understood. Rachel stood to leave, then hesitated. She smiles more since you arrived. Don't make me wish I hadn't said that. Lily, table 6 is waiting for you, Phil shouted from the kitchen. Lily made her way to the table, where she discovered Thomas, the owner's son, seated by himself. He made regular visits from business school, openly expressing his interest in her. The usual? She inquired with a practiced demeanor. What do you think about having dinner instead? Thomas proposed, his assured grin failing to illuminate his gaze. That new spot on Market Street? I appreciate the invite, but I can't, Lily responded, the same reply she'd offered for 2 years. Thomas looked over at Jack's corner. Is it due to your charitable situation? That's not appropriate, Lily remarked, her tone turning icy. Your order? Later, while she attended to other tables, Thomas made his way over to Jack. You've created quite the impressive arrangement. Free food? A place to stay? Jack replied calmly. I pay my way. Playing the long game smart. Thomas smirked. But she'll figure out you're using her eventually. Jack set down his cup, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. You should leave now, Thomas chuckled. Or what? Are you really considering going back to begging outside? Jack rose to his full height, his commanding presence catching Thomas off guard. I refuse to plead. Lily deserves more respect than you're showing. Thomas stepped back, yet his thoughtful gaze hinted that the conflict was far from resolved. Weeks went by. What started as an act of kindness evolved into a true bond of friendship. Jack discovered himself revealing genuine aspects of his life, his passion for architecture, nostalgic childhood moments, beloved books, all while meticulously refining his recent experiences. One Sunday, Lily led him to a quaint bookstore housed in a repurposed firehouse. This is what sparked my inspiration, she shared, pointing out the inviting reading corners and the charming cafe space. I envision more community space, workshops for writers, book clubs, and story hours for children. It's not just about business. It's about being a cornerstone of the neighborhood, Jack noted. Precisely. Many investors fail to grasp that aspect. Her eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she articulated her vision. It would require the perfect location. Within reach, yet budget-friendly. Jack absorbed every nuance, a concept taking shape. Once the night settled in and Lily and Sarah were tucked away in their dreams, he picked up the phone to make a call. "Margaret, I need you to find commercial properties that meet certain criteria," he whispered, arranging a meeting with the foundation board. "I want to suggest something innovative." A few days later, while walking home from the diner, Lily spontaneously took Jack's hand. He gazed at her, taken aback. "Is this all right?" she inquired. He softly grasped her hand in reply. "More than okay." They strolled in a serene quiet, each aware of a change in their bond, yet neither eager to label it. For Jack, the moment solidified his escalating conflict, how to reconcile the life he had built with Lily and the reality he had momentarily left behind. For Lily, it symbolized granting herself a personal indulgence after years of prioritizing others. No matter what Jack's history contained, she had faith in the individual he had revealed himself to be. Unbeknownst to them, Thomas observed from his car parked across the street, a flicker of recognition crossing his features as he matched Jack's profile to a business magazine resting on the passenger seat. "Your fever's worsening," Jack remarked, gently laying a cool cloth on Lily's forehead. Her skin ignited beneath his touch, her breath coming in labored gasps after a night filled with relentless coughing. "I'm fine," Lily insisted, though her voice was barely a whisper. "I just need to get to work." "You can hardly stand," Jack replied, softly pushing her back against the pillows. "I already called Phil, he understands." Lily's pneumonia had progressed rapidly. What began as a mere cold following a rainstorm had intensified within days. Now she rested in her bedroom, her fever soaring to 102 despite the medication. "Sarah has exams," she whispered. "She can't skip class to look after me." "I'm here," Jack reassured her. "I'm not going anywhere." There was a weight in his tone that compelled Lily to examine his face, even though it made her uneasy. The worry in his eyes appeared to delve beyond mere friendship, reflecting emotions she had been hesitant to confront. For 3 days, Jack remained closely by Lily's side. He made broth and tea, managed her medication schedule, and slept on her bedroom floor to keep an eye on her breathing. Sarah, who had been unsure about leaving her sister in Jack's care, found herself impressed by his unwavering commitment. "You truly have deep feelings for her, don't you? What's the plan for today?" Sarah inquired on the third morning while Jack readied a fresh, cool cloth. Jack's response was straightforward. "Yes." In her feverish state, Lily's usual defenses fell away. She recounted her parents, the tragic car accident that took place 4 years ago, her battle to complete college while stepping into the role of Sarah's guardian, and the bookstore dream that fueled her through countless double shifts. "Mom adored books," she shared during a moment of clarity. She often remarked that they were windows when doors appeared shut. Jack tuned in, taking in every nuance of her narrative. As her fever surged once more, he grasped her hand and recounted tales of the constellations that adorned the night sky above his childhood home in rural Pennsylvania, sharing a genuine glimpse into his past. As Lily started to heal, Jack came to understand the profound depth of his feelings for her. It wasn't merely her kindness that captivated him. It was her strength, intellect, and steadfast dedication to those she cherished. The chasm separating his true existence from the facade he had shown her appeared ever more insurmountable. "Share a truth with me?" Lily asked one evening, her strength allowing her to sit up, yet still tethered to her bed. "A memory from before our paths crossed." Jack paused, carefully choosing a recollection he felt comfortable sharing. "At the age of 12, I constructed a treehouse. My father deemed it structurally unsound, prompting me to delve into proper building techniques. I meticulously rebuilt it 3 times until I finally gained his approval." "That clarifies the handyman abilities," Lily smiled. "Was he an engineer?" "A businessman," Jack replied, the truth tasting peculiar on his tongue. He held the conviction that anything truly worthwhile warranted the utmost dedication. "And your mother?" He mentioned that she operated a literacy foundation. Yet another reality. She taught me that money without purpose holds no value. They sound wonderful. They were. This wasn't a fabrication. Both of his parents had passed away within a year of one another, shortly after he assumed control of the company. Their absence had significantly influenced his journey, propelling him to seek something genuine amidst a landscape dominated by monetary exchanges. "What about you?" he inquired, shifting the topic. What happened after college? Lily recounted her journey through various jobs, each selected for its flexibility rather than for the sake of climbing the career ladder. People kept advising me to abandon the bookstore, seek a corporate job, and ascend the ranks. She shook her head. The dream was too important to let go, even if it required juggling 3 jobs to support Sarah and set aside a bit of savings. Jack struggled to suppress the desire to reveal it all to her, how effortlessly he could transform her dreams into reality, how his business frequently handled sums that could alter her life in an instant. Instead, he inquired, "If you discovered the ideal location tomorrow, what would be your first step?" Her eyes sparkled with enthusiasm despite her condition. Draft a genuine business proposal. Seek out opportunities for small business financing. Perhaps seek out those who share a vision for community spaces. "You will succeed," Jack asserted confidently. "I've never encountered anyone with such resolve." Their gazes locked, the atmosphere thick with unexpressed emotions. Jack leaned in, captivated by a closeness forged through mutual secrets. Lily's eyes fell to his lips, her breath hitching in her throat. The front door swung open, shattering the stillness of the moment. "I brought soup," Sarah announced. Jack stepped back, feeling a mix of relief and disappointment at the interruption. What was blossoming between them warranted honesty, a quality he had yet to offer. The following day, while Lily was asleep, Jack quietly left to explore an address Margaret had provided. The storefront on Fairmount Avenue stood vacant, its former occupant, a used bookstore, having shuttered 6 months prior. Expansive windows overlooked the street, while the interior walls were already adorned with built-in shelving. "It requires some attention," the real estate agent remarked, highlighting the water damage and antiquated electrical systems. "However, the cost indicates that." Jack nodded, already picturing the potential transformation with the right renovations. "What about the zoning?" "Mixed-use commercial, ideal for retail, including a cafe element." It aligned perfectly with Lily's description. Conveniently situated, appropriately sized, with a distinct personality, yet lacking the overwhelming allure that would inflate the cost. Priced at $215,000, it exceeded her savings, yet it was merely a straightforward deal for Bennett Developments. "I'm interested," Jack informed the agent. "However, we'll require a detailed purchase structure." Meanwhile, across town, Thomas Whitfield occupied his father's office at the diner. The business magazine lay open before him. The similarity was undeniable. Even with his beard and laid-back attire, Jack unmistakably embodied Jackson Bennett, the CEO of Bennett Developments, boasting an estimated net worth of $340 million. Thomas accessed the latest news articles on his phone. Bennett had stepped away for personal reasons 2 months prior, aligning with Jack's visit to the diner. "Pretending to be without a home," Thomas muttered. "But why?" The response was inconsequential. What held significance was leverage. He captured images of the magazine spread and awaited Jack's return. Upon Jack's return to the apartment, he discovered Lily perched in the living room, a hint of color blossoming in her cheeks. "You really ought to be resting," he chided softly. "I was going a bit mad in there," she confessed. "Besides, the fever's been normal since this morning." Jack settled beside her on the couch, a sudden awareness washing over him of how effortlessly this felt. Being with her, tending to her well-being, occupying the same space. The chasm between this life and his corner office had never appeared wider. "Jack," Lily started, her voice wavering. "When I'm feeling better, we should discuss. What is going on between us?" His heart pounded with intensity. "What do you think is happening?" She locked eyes with him. "An unexpected discovery. It's something that scares me a little," she confessed. Me too, he admitted honestly as Lily reached for his hand. I must understand the potential direction of this. I can't. Jack's phone rang, cutting her off. The screen illuminated with Thomas Whitfield's name, a call he felt compelled to answer. I need to take this, he said apologetically, moving into the hallway. Hello? Hello, Mr. Bennett, Thomas said with a hint of arrogance. Or do you prefer Jack these days? I have no idea what you mean, Jack replied, lowering his voice as he stepped away from the apartment door. Save it, Thomas said. Jackson Bennett, the head of Bennett Developments, a Fortune 500 enterprise, oversees a 30-story headquarters located in Manhattan. Estimated net worth of $340 million. Currently residing in South Philly for... What exactly? A societal experiment? Or simply having fun with Lily? Jack felt a knot in his stomach. What do you desire? Let's have a conversation face to face. The cafe at the intersection. 20 minutes. Jack hung up, his thoughts swirling. He came back to see Lily gazing at him, her expression filled with worry. Is everything all right? She inquired. Just a possible opportunity, he fibbed. I require a short meeting with someone. Will you be all right alone? Lily nodded. I'm feeling much better. Go. Thomas stood there, 2 coffees in hand, a triumphant smile lighting up his face as Jack made his entrance. I was rather perplexed initially, Thomas started, nudging a coffee toward Jack. What could possibly motivate one of the wealthiest individuals in the nation to feign homelessness? Then it dawned on me. It's concerning Lily. Keep her out of this, Jack cautioned. She remains oblivious to your true self, doesn't she? Thomas inclined his body slightly forward. Picture her response upon discovering the reality. The sense of betrayal. The embarrassment. What are you trying to say? Thomas mentioned a sum, $200,000 to maintain silence. Think of it as the cost of your small escapade, Jack observed the younger man. You have no concern for Lily. An opportunity has just come into view. And you're not taking advantage of her, Thomas retorted. Residing in her space, embracing her generosity, winning her affection, all while concealing your true self. The accusation struck deeper than Jack anticipated, for it held a grain of truth. He had stepped into Lily's world with a facade, yet his emotions had evolved into something real. I refuse to pay you, Jack declared with unwavering certainty. Use the information as you see fit. Thomas's self-satisfied demeanor wavered. You're bluffing. I'm not, Jack asserted, rising to his feet. If Lily discovers the truth, it must be from me, not as leverage from someone who views her as an object. As he turned to leave, Jack felt assured in his ethical decision, yet he also recognized that his dual existence was finally over. Before Jack could find the right moment to reveal the truth to Lily, fate intervened. The following afternoon, Thomas strode into the diner during Lily's shift, slamming a magazine onto her counter that featured Jack's photo front and center. Your homeless boyfriend is Jackson Bennett, he declared, his voice carrying to the ears of nearby patrons. He's worth hundreds of millions. He's been lying to you from day one. Lily stared at the magazine in disbelief, the resemblance undeniable despite Jack's now bearded appearance. The article detailed Bennett's business acumen, his reputation as a shrewd negotiator, and his extensive real estate holdings. This must be a misunderstanding, she murmured. Check his phone next time, Thomas suggested, feigning concern. Or inquire about the commercial property he just bought on Fairmount Avenue. The reference to a property in the precise location she'd mentioned for her bookstore obliterated Lily's last shred of uncertainty. She completed her shift with a sense of detachment, her thoughts swirling in a chaotic dance. Jack sensed an unsettling presence the instant he stepped into the apartment. Lily lingered at the kitchen table, a magazine sprawled open in front of her, her face a mask of inscrutability. Were you ever going to tell me? She asked quietly. Jack's careful explanations, rehearsed during his walk home, crumbled under the weight of the hurt in her eyes. Yes, I was seeking the correct path. What is the best approach to confessing that you've been dishonest for an extended period? Is it true that all we share is built on deception? Her voice held a calmness that, in some way, intensified the situation more than if she had raised it in anger. Not everything, Jack asserted. My emotions for you are genuine. How could I possibly know? I have no idea who you are. Lily rose to her feet, creating space between them. Why would someone like you pretend to be homeless? Was I just a subject for your experiment? A charity case to boost your own self-esteem? No. Jack stepped closer, halting when she recoiled. I was exhausted by the constant demands from others. Money, connections, deals. I yearned for something authentic. So you fabricated your whole identity? Lily let out a harsh laugh. That lacks authenticity. I never meant to linger for this duration, he confessed. It was meant to be just one night, then a couple of days. But being here with you, it became real for me. Thomas mentioned you purchased property on Fairmount, Lily remarked. Exactly in the spot I specified for my bookstore. Was that included in your strategy as well? Jack paused, his quietness validating her doubt. Did you really believe you could purchase my loyalty? Place me in an adorable little store, and I'd be so thankful that I'd ignore the trickery. Her voice finally faltered. I placed my trust in you. I welcomed you into my space, my existence. I was beginning to, she paused, hesitant to complete the idea. Lily, please, Jack implored. Allow me to clarify everything. There's nothing to clarify, she gestured toward the door. I want you to leave. Tonight. Where should I go? He asked, making one last desperate effort to connect with her. Back to your mansion, your penthouse. I don't care. Tears welled up in her eyes. Just go back to your real life and leave me to mine. Sarah returned home to find Lily alone, silently crying at the kitchen table. The magazine still lay open, Jack's possessions gone. He lied about everything, Lily whispered, when Sarah asked what happened. And I fell for it completely. The executive floor of Bennett Development hummed with astonishment at Jack's unforeseen comeback. Freshly shaven and clad in his customary tailored suit, he embodied the image of the CEO they recalled, though a certain emptiness lingered in his gaze. The West Side Project files require your signature, Margaret stated, trailing behind him into his office. And the board is requesting a comprehensive update on your sabbatical. Jack nodded absently, gazing at the Manhattan skyline from his corner office. The vista had previously symbolized achievement. Now it seemed like an ornate prison. Are you all right? Margaret inquired. No, he replied candidly. But I'll take care of the board. For the following week, Jack went through the motions, signing documents and attending meetings. All the while his mind lingered on a modest apartment in Philadelphia. He had wounded Lily profoundly, a truth that tormented him more than any professional setback ever could. In the meantime, Lily immersed herself in additional shifts, steering clear of both the apartment and any discussions regarding Jack. The sense of betrayal was palpable, a deep ache that grew stronger with each recollection of their shared moments. His tender attention throughout her sickness, their discussions about literature and aspirations, the nearly shared kiss halted by Sarah's arrival. You ought to give him a ring, Sarah proposed, observing her sister glance at her phone for the 5th time within the hour. He's likely finding the entire situation amusing, Lily retorted with a hint of bitterness. A struggling waitress becomes entangled with a deceptive homeless man. Quite the tale for his affluent companions. Yet Sarah, ever the realist, remained skeptical. I noticed the way he gazed at you. That wasn't fake. It doesn't matter, Lily insisted. I can't trust anything he said or did. Yet at night, she found herself longing not for the man in the magazine, but for the Jack who had repaired her radiator, assisted her sister with homework, and gazed at her as if she were something truly valuable. Jack gazed at the contract laid out before him, his mind drifting from the intricate details of the $50 million acquisition. Instead, his thoughts echoed with the image of Lily's hurt face as she urged him to go. Mr. Bennett, the attorney urged. Is this your signature? Not today, Jack declared, rising suddenly. I need to delve deeper into this. Once the bewildered legal team left, Margaret stayed behind. You've returned for 2 weeks and signed nothing. The board is starting to worry. Jack glanced at his assistant of 8 years, possibly the only one who truly understood him. I made a mistake, Margaret. What about the sabbatical? No, Jack replied. Returning. He painted a picture of Lily. Her selflessness in the face of personal challenges, her unwavering commitment to her sister, her vision of establishing a communal haven instead of merely a lucrative enterprise. She seems extraordinary, Margaret noted, and she remains unaware of your true feelings. How could she possibly? I lied about everything else. Jack stepped toward the window. My father established this company with the conviction that wealth equated to success. For years, I felt an emptiness that something vital was lacking. And you discovered it with her, Margaret finished. I discovered potential, he amended, until I dismantled it with trickery. Throughout the city, Sarah observed her sister meticulously organizing books on the diner's modest community shelf, a task she had begun since Jack's exit. So, you're sorting by color now? Sarah inquired as she settled into a booth. It's aesthetically pleasing, Lily responded, her gaze fixed elsewhere. You're dodging the subject of him. Lily sighed. There's nothing to discuss. He deceived. I had faith in him. The conclusion has been reached. With a determined flick, Sarah lifted the lid of her laptop. I conducted some research. Jackson Bennett defies expectations. She pivoted the screen to showcase newspaper articles highlighting Bennett Development's community housing initiatives and education scholarships. Good for him, Lily replied with a hint of indifference. He continued to deceive me for months. Indeed, that was not right, Sarah concurred. But think about why someone like him would choose to live as a homeless person, take on odd jobs, and stay in our cramped apartment. Perhaps it's a kind of distorted social experiment. Or maybe he's in search of something genuine in a world where everyone seems to want something from him. Sarah shut her laptop. Just as you maintain a safe distance from men, convinced they'll walk away when the going gets tough. Lily fixed her gaze on her sister. When did you become so perceptive? Higher education comes at a cost. I'm getting my money's worth, Sarah said with a soft smile. I'm not suggesting you should forgive him without thought. I'm merely pointing out that his emotions could have been sincere, even if his history was flawed. Later that evening, Lily found herself browsing through her phone, looking at the few photos she had of Jack, assisting at the community garden cleanup. She sat on her couch, immersed in a book. Laughter filled the air as she shared a meal with Sarah. The warmth in his eyes felt genuine and unforced. For the first time, she attempted to envision his viewpoint. The solitude that could compel someone with so much to pursue connection while concealing his true self. It didn't justify the deceit, but it rendered it more comprehensible. 3 days later, Sarah reached a conclusion. Equipped with Jack's true identity and his company details, she boarded the train to Manhattan and entered the striking lobby of Bennett Development. I need to see Jackson Bennett, she stated to the receptionist. Do you have an appointment? The woman inquired with a hint of skepticism, her gaze sweeping over Sarah's student attire. Please inform him that Sarah Foster has arrived. Lily's sister. 20 minutes later, she found herself being led to the top floor. Jack's astonishment was clear as she stepped into his office. Sarah? Is Lily all right? Physically? Yes. What else? Sarah shrugged. She misses you, even if she won't say it. Jack motioned for her to take a seat. I've penned a dozen letters to her that remain unsent. I dialed her number, hoping to listen to her voicemail. That's either romantic or creepy, Sarah noted. I'm leaning toward romantic, which is why I'm here. I hurt her, Jack admitted. I don't expect forgiveness. What you did was wrong, Sarah concurred. But your error wasn't in falling for my sister. It was a matter of not having the confidence to share the truth with her before she learned it from another source. Jack acknowledged the feedback with a nod. I should have been honest with her after the first week, and certainly again after she fell ill. With each passing day, the anticipation only grew more unbearable. Why didn't you? Sarah inquired. Because for the first time in years, someone truly saw me, not just my wealth or status. Jack ran a hand through his hair. And I selfishly wished for that to persist. Sarah examined him closely. Do you love her? Yes, Jack conceded without a moment's pause. Not that it holds any significance now. It could, Sarah replied, rising to depart. Compose another letter to her. Not an email, not a text, but a genuine handwritten letter that lays everything out. She deserves at least that much. And if she discards it without reading, that's entirely up to her. Sarah lingered at the entrance. But the Jack who repaired our faucet and assisted me with my business plan felt more genuine than the CEO behind this desk. 3 days later, Lily found an envelope with no return address waiting for her. Within the envelope lay a letter penned in Jack's unique script. Lily, I won't seek forgiveness I haven't earned. Instead, I wish to share the truth I should have offered months ago. My true identity is Jackson Bennett. I was born into wealth, took over a company I grew with great success, and soon found myself in the company of those who sought to gain from me. 3 months ago, I chose to embrace simplicity in search of something genuine in a world that frequently feels like a transaction. What I never anticipated was you. You extended a warm invitation to a stranger, seeking no reward in return. You welcomed others into your home during a storm, driven solely by kindness. Your kindness was not dependent on what I could offer or the persona I projected. The person who repaired your faucet, who prepared meals in your kitchen, who comforted you when you were unwell, that was my true self, more genuine than the executive I've portrayed for so long. I should have revealed my reality after that initial evening, or at the very least before Thomas compelled me to act. My dishonesty began from a place of insecurity but persisted out of fear of losing you. I mistakenly thought that revealing the truth would change your perception of me, when I should have had faith in the bond we were creating. Your aspiration for a community-focused bookstore truly moved me. The property on Fairmount was not intended as a ploy, but rather as an acknowledgement of your vision. I've put it in a community trust that is entirely separate from my involvement. Details are included if you wish to explore further. Regardless of whether you read this letter, I want you to understand that encountering you has profoundly altered my perspective on my role in the world and the obligations that accompany privilege. I am tamed, always yours, Jack. Lily read the letter 3 times, her emotions a whirlwind. The property information revealed a non-profit community development organization as the owner, not Bennett himself. That night, she made a decision that took even her by surprise. The security guard at Bennett Developments appeared doubtful when Lily requested to see Jack. Mr. Bennett does not entertain unannounced guests, he clarified. Tell him Lily Foster is here, she insisted. He'll see me. 10 minutes later, she found herself in Jack's office, absorbing the breathtaking view and the man before her, who appeared both known and unfamiliar in his perfectly tailored suit. Lily, he whispered, visibly taken aback by her presence. How did you? Your letter, she interrupted. I read it. Jack waited, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and hope. I remain furious, she went on. You had numerous chances to be honest with me. I understand, he admitted. I have no justification. But, Lily took a deep breath. The Jack I knew during those months, the one who cared for me when I was unwell, who respected my sister, who understood my aspirations. I believe he was genuine. Was he? The most genuine I've ever felt, Jack replied, his voice thick with emotion. All the emotions I had for you were genuine, Lily. Everything I feel remains, she nodded, absorbing this. I'm not seeking elaborate displays or vows. I'm here because, despite it all, I miss our conversations. I long for the person I once knew. I long for you as well, Jack confessed. Beyond what I imagined. Perhaps, Lily proposed tentatively. We might begin anew with complete honesty this time. Jack approached her gradually, halting just within arm's length. Hello, he said, reaching out his hand. I am Jackson Bennett. My friends call me Jack, and I'd very much like to know you better. For the first time in weeks, Lily smiled. Hello, Jack, she said, grasping his hand. I'm Lily Foster. I sense there's much to discuss. I still don't grasp why we're here, Lily remarked, as Jack guided her along Fairmount Avenue, their breath visible in the February chill. Patience, he said with a grin, pausing in front of an unoccupied storefront. The expansive windows were shrouded in brown paper from within, with a sold sign prominently displayed on the door. Is this really it? She inquired, her eyes narrowing as she recognized the address from the trust documents he had sent along with his letter. Jack nodded, revealing a key. Are you prepared to take a look inside? They had been tentatively mending their bond over the last 3 weeks. Coffee outings, sincere discussions, and thoughtful maneuvering through the notable contrasts in their lives. Now Jack appeared to be a mix of nerves and excitement as he turned the key in the lock. Close your eyes, he requested. Lily complied, surrendering to his guidance as he led her inside. The atmosphere embraced her with warmth, a stark contrast to the chill of winter outside, and she caught a whiff of fresh paint mingling with the aroma of new wood. All right, Jack said. Check this out. Lily opened her eyes and gasped. The interior had been entirely transformed, original brick walls meticulously restored, wooden shelves adorning the edges, a cozy counter area at the back where a cafe could thrive. Floor-to-ceiling windows flooded the space with natural light, illuminating the polished hardwood floors. What is this? She whispered, though she already knew. The Northeast Community Development Trust purchased this building, Jack explained, observing her reaction. They are in search of the ideal individual to create a bookstore cafe that will serve as a cornerstone for revitalizing the neighborhood. He presented her with a folder. This is their proposal. Lily's hands shook with anticipation as she unfolded it. Inside was a comprehensive business plan, much like her own but more elaborate, for Foster's, Books, and Brew. The trust will provide the startup funding as a low-interest loan, Jack continued. They're particularly interested in your ideas for community programming and local hiring. This is Lily struggled to find words. Jack, did you establish this trust? I played a role in its creation, he confessed. However, it operates independently, with a legitimate board and a clear mission. You would be their inaugural project, but they are also exploring similar prospects in other communities. Lily strolled leisurely through the area, letting her fingers glide over the shelves. It's precisely as I envisioned it. That was the intention. Jack lingered by the door, allowing her some distance. This isn't a present from me, Lily. It's an opportunity you've earned. The Trust's investment committee reviewed your business plan independently and voted unanimously to support it. She turned to face him. But they wouldn't know about my plan if not for you. Indeed, he conceded. Think of it as my method of unlocking a passage. The path you choose to traverse, and the actions you take once you emerge, are solely in your hands. Lily examined his expression, looking for any hint of deceit or dominance. Instead, she discovered only a glimmer of hope and genuine respect for her choice. What if I decline? The trust discovers an alternative bookstore operator or a different purpose for the space. Jack shrugged. Your relationship with me doesn't hinge on your answer. She kept examining the space, envisioning possibilities. And if I say yes, then you collaborate with the trust's small business advisors to fine-tune the plan, recruit staff, procure inventory, and launch according to your schedule. He grinned. And I get to be your inaugural customer. Lily chuckled, the sound reverberating in the vacant space. You've really considered this deeply. I've had the chance to reflect on what truly matters, Jack responded. I want my resources to support dreams like yours, dreams that empower communities. She moved closer to him, taking his hands in hers. Thank you for understanding that I need to do this myself, not have it given to me. I never doubted that, he assured her. You're the most capable person I know. The next weeks passed in a whirlwind of activity. Lily resigned from the diner and library, concentrating on bringing Foster's books and brew to life. She collaborated intimately with the trust's advisors, yet ultimately made every crucial decision on her own. Sarah demonstrated her worth by utilizing her business studies to assist with inventory management systems and marketing strategies. Rachel, weary of her time spent cooking at the diner, eagerly accepted the opportunity to oversee the cafe section. Jack maintained a considerate distance from the business matters, providing personal support without ever intruding. Their relationship grew stronger through sincere discussions about their diverse backgrounds and common values. Does it bother you? He asked one evening as they strolled past the luxury car he now drove with pride. The distinction between our financial circumstances. Lily pondered this. Sometimes. Not because I desire what you possess, but because it underscores how distinct our journeys have been. Yet here we are, Jack said, squeezing her hand. Indeed, we have arrived, she concurred. A month prior to the grand opening, Lily uncovered an additional layer to Jack's vision. While reviewing the trust's broader initiatives, she discovered plans for a small business incubator program, with Foster's as its hub. You never mentioned this, she said, confronting him with the documents. It wasn't relevant to your decision, Jack explained. The trust is identifying neighborhood residents with business ideas, but limited access to resources. The proposal is to provide them with mentorship and microloans, using my bookstore as the home base, Lily noted. If you're open to it. If not, they'll seek other options. Lily examined the proposal. Local enterprises backing one another builds a more resilient community than any individual venture could. Jack grinned. That's precisely what I conveyed to the board. The program aligned perfectly with Lily's vision for her store as a cornerstone of the community. Together, they pinpointed 5 initial candidates. A home baker in need of commercial kitchen access, a seamstress crafting children's clothing, a graphic designer seeking the right equipment, an ESL teacher looking to broaden her services, and a young man with creative urban gardening methods. We can host workshops in our community room, Lily realized, her excitement growing. Cross-promote their products. Create a real ecosystem. Jack observed her planning with pride. The woman who had once offered shelter to a stranger was now crafting a haven for the dreams of an entire community. On opening day, Foster's Books and Brew was bustling from the moment Lily unlocked the doors. The space was filled with neighborhood residents, curious passersby, and friends, all browsing the thoughtfully curated shelves and sampling Rachel's pastries. A modest plaque near the entrance acknowledged the Northeast Community Development Trust. Yet there was little else to suggest Jack's involvement. This was Lily's achievement, her vision brought to life through her determination. Sarah handled the register while Lily conducted tours of the community room where workshops and events were set to take place. The 5 participants in the incubator had small displays highlighting their businesses. Late afternoon, as the initial crowd thinned, Lily found Jack sitting in a corner armchair, observing it all with quiet satisfaction. You haven't stopped smiling all day, she noted, perching on the chair's arm. Neither have you. He grasped her hand. Isn't it everything you've ever dreamed of? And more, she confessed. I never envisioned the incubator program. That's going to transform lives. Jack shook his head. You would have arrived at that point in due time. You understand what communities need to thrive. As the day drew to a close, Lily brought everyone together, including Sarah, Rachel, the incubator participants, and trust representatives, for a toast with sparkling cider. To Foster's, she started. Not merely a bookstore or cafe, but a sanctuary for ideas, connections, and possibilities. And, she added, looking directly at Jack, to believing in people's dreams, even when the dreamers themselves sometimes falter. Jack raised his glass, along with the others. But his gaze remained fixed on Lily's face. As the chatter swirled around them, he softly guided her to a secluded nook. "I have something for you," he said, pulling a small box from his pocket. "It's not what you might think," he added quickly, noticing her expression. Inside was a simple pendant containing what appeared to be a fragment of blue ceramic. "It's a piece of the original diner counter," Jack explained. "The place where you first treated me to coffee. Phil let me have it when they replaced the section last month." Lily touched it gently. "The start of our tale. A reminder that genuine connections can start in the most unexpected ways." Jack hesitated. "I love you, Lily. Not for your kindness or generosity, though those are part of who you are. I admire your essence, your unwavering determination, your deep compassion, and your steadfast commitment to your principles." "I love you too," she replied softly. "The true you, not the CEO or the homeless man, but the individual who perceives possibilities where others see only obstacles." As the last customers of the day left, Lily secured the door of her bookstore. Her dream had come to life not through the generosity of a wealthy benefactor, but through her own vision and a partnership founded on mutual respect. Jack stood by patiently while she finished her closing tasks, both aware that what they had discovered together was far more precious than mere business success or financial stability. They had discovered one another, genuinely and truthfully, and in spite of every challenge their contrasting realms had imposed upon them. 1 year later, "Will you be assisting or merely overseeing?" Lily called to Jack, who was leaning against the doorframe, watching her struggle with a particularly stubborn box of new releases. "I was admiring the view," he replied with a grin, crossing the room to take the heavy box from her hands. 1 year after Foster's Books and Brew had opened its doors, the store had become exactly what Lily had envisioned, a thriving community hub filled with books, conversation, and possibility. The anniversary celebration was scheduled for tomorrow, and the store was closed for preparations. Vibrant banners draped from the ceiling and images chronicling the previous year's happenings adorned one wall, including book clubs, children's story hours, business workshops, and community gatherings. "It's hard to believe a year has passed," Sarah remarked, stepping out of the storeroom with a stack of commemorative bookmarks. At 20, she now juggled part-time management of the store's business operations alongside her final year of college. "Do you recall the fear we felt on opening day?" "Speak for yourself," Rachel replied from the cafe area, where she was busy experimenting with a new pastry recipe. "I knew we would succeed from day one," Lily said, smiling at her friend's confidence. In just a year, they had not only built a thriving enterprise but also fostered something deeper. A community hub where local residents came together, shared knowledge, and uplifted one another. The 5 original incubator participants had all embarked on successful ventures. Maria's Bakery now provided 3 local restaurants alongside Rachel's Cafe. James had broadened his urban gardening initiative to encompass 2 community gardens. Diane's children's clothing line received a spotlight in a regional magazine. Victor's graphic design business had 3 employees, and Elena's language school operated evening classes in Foster's community room 4 nights a week. "The trust board is impressed," Jack remarked, shelving the new books with a deft touch. His dual life had come to a close. While he continued as CEO of Bennett Developments, he had reshaped the company to prioritize community-focused initiatives and worked mainly from Philadelphia to stay close to Lily. They're rolling out similar programs in 2 other neighborhoods inspired by the success achieved here. "Our success," Lily corrected, wrapping her arms around his waist. Their relationship had deepened over the past year, built on honest communication and shared values despite their different backgrounds. Jack's phone chimed with a message. "The plans for the community center are ready for review," he informed her after examining the text. "We can take a look at them tonight if you're not too worn out." The Westside Community Center marked their initial genuine partnership, a venture that fused Lily's insight into community needs with Jack's expertise in business and available resources. The previous warehouse would soon accommodate affordable childcare, senior services, job training facilities, and recreational space. I definitely want to see them, Lily confirmed, especially the library section. As afternoon faded to evening, the four of them finalized preparations for the anniversary celebration. When everything was prepared, Sarah and Rachel left, leaving Jack and Lily in the serene atmosphere. Jack observed as Lily meandered through the store, adjusting already flawless displays and gently caressing the spines of books. She adorned the ceramic pendant he had gifted her on opening day, a fragment of the diner counter where their journey commenced. "Happy?" he inquired. "Beyond happy," she responded. "This is everything I dreamed of and more." She surveyed the room, that had transformed into a reflection of her essence. "I can't shake off the memory of that snowstorm, and how the outcome could have shifted if I hadn't invited you to stay, or if I hadn't said yes," Jack remarked. His journey of living had grown into something far deeper than he ever expected. "The best choice I ever made." Lily grasped his hand, the modest engagement ring he had presented to her 3 months prior, glistening in the light. It had belonged to his grandmother, precious not for its small dimensions, but for the stories it carried and the significance it held. They had settled on a quaint wedding in the spring, with the celebration to take place right here in the bookstore. "Do you ever long for your past life?" she inquired, a query that surfaced from time to time as they traversed their distinct realms. "Some aspects of it," he confessed candidly. "The straightforward nature of decisive actions, the comfort of the habits I had formed. But I was sleepwalking through existence." Jack pulled her nearer. "You showed me what it means to live not just successfully, but meaningfully." They secured the door and strolled side by side toward their home, a cozy brownstone situated perfectly between Lily's roots and the city's wealthier districts. Much like their bond, it symbolized a connection between their different lives, instead of one individual conforming to the other. On the wall of their living room hung a framed photograph of them on opening day, standing before Foster's Books and Brew, Lily beaming with pride, Jack looking at her with undisguised love. Beside it was the magazine article that had exposed his identity, now a reminder of challenges overcome rather than a painful memory. Later that evening, as they reviewed the community center plans at their kitchen table, Jack was struck by how naturally they had blended their strengths. Lily's community insight and his strategic thinking, creating something neither could have accomplished alone. "What occupies your thoughts?" she inquired, observing his contemplative demeanor. "How we complement each other," he replied. "Discovering you transformed everything." "A poor girl takes a homeless man home," Lily quipped with a smile, referencing how their story had begun. "Not knowing he's secretly a millionaire. And what he did changed her life," Jack finished, pulling her into his arms. "What we did," Lily corrected gently, "changed both our lives." Outside their window, Philadelphia continued its evening rhythms, a city of contrasts and possibilities, where an unlikely connection made during a snowstorm had evolved into a partnership that transformed not only two people, but an entire community. 1 year had passed, but their story was still being written, page by page, day by day, with honesty and purpose replacing the deception that had initially brought them together. What had started as an act of kindness had transformed into something deeper. What began as a falsehood had evolved into a deep reality, and within that reality, they discovered a sense of belonging.